So today I thought we'd take a look at the progress of my early potatoes, not the main crop potatoes because I haven't even planted those yet, but these are the potatoes that will see us through from when the overwintered potatoes finish, and they're kind of sprouting now, but they should last until the end of April. And so these are the potatoes that we'll be harvesting in May and June and July, and then we'll come on to our main crop potatoes in sort of August, and then we'll harvest those from the containers that they grew in all the way through until May again. So all but 3 of my tubs of early potatoes are in the polytunnel, and I've got 3 tubs outside, and they've not broken surface yet, and if they did break surface and we were facing a frosty day, then they would be rapidly moved into the garage. But let's have a look at the early ones. So I always recommend you start the absolute minimum number of potatoes early, because the later you leave them, the better the harvest is going to be. So I've only got these 2, which will last us for a month, and these are swift. They're growing pretty well. I started these in small pots in the house, transplanted them into these bigger pots, and waited until they broke surface and then brought them to the polytunnel straight away. Those were a little bit leggy perhaps, but they'll still be fine. And then these I started here at home, again in small pots, but I transplanted them into these pots in the polytunnel, and I've just used my own homemade compost, which is really woody and horrible, but you know, I was just a bit lazy really. I didn't want to buy any compost, so I thought I would just try it out and see how they do. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, and there's 1 per week, so that lasts us lasts us for 10 weeks. And then we've got the ones that are growing at home, and so they will last us for another 3 weeks. So we've got 13 weeks worth of potatoes there. And then in the corners here, those are all swift, by the way, we've got our first Charlottes. So these are a much slower growing potato, and these also size up really nicely, and they're a good general purpose potato, so they can be used for baking or roasting or anything you want. And I've got 4 tubs of those. I've got those 2 and those 2, so we'll only need 1 of those for 2 weeks. So again, we've got 8 weeks worth of potatoes there, 2 months worth. We'll probably start harvesting these potatoes in May, and then, as I said, kind of 4 weeks later we'll be harvesting these all the way through July, and early August we'll be harvesting these in the big tubs. And by then we'll have our second earlies ready and our main crops not far behind. So if you want to know more about how I grow potatoes, then take a look at the individual growing guides, and you'll find a link to those down below in the description. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.